I think there's a greater joy when you help others. And fine, you can grow the business and, there'll be ups and downs and all that, but making sure that the basic preservation is there, grow if you can, and most importantly is be happy.
Welcome back, everybody. This is episode 2 of a 2-part series. First part, if you missed it, shame on you. It was fantastic. We just finished a fantastic conversation with HP. HP, thank you again, as always. Amazing. And now, since the theme of this talk is family business, we've roped in the second and third generation people to come be on the hot seat. So we're going to talk with DJ. Everybody knows DJ, hopefully, president of Auro Hotels, and his son, Keval. Welcome, who's just joined the family business. And we're going to fire hot questions at those guys to see if they can sweat a little bit. And then these guys get to watch. So without further ado, DJ, step it up.
Welcome to Greenville, Teague. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for letting me bring the chaos.
Absolutely.
So let's talk family business.
Right.
What is your first memory of the industry?
So listen, I have a lot of memories, and I was indoctrinated to the hotel business at the Sunset Motel.
Thank you.
In 1973. Back then we had 40, I was probably like 9. I was in 3rd grade.
Okay, love it.
And we had 40 doors, and every door had a switch. And every morning my job was to save electricity. So I would shut off the lights before I walked to school. And at night, my job was to turn it back on. So we were in Pomona, California, about 30 to 40 minutes away from LAX. So every time we would have a visitor, we would have to either pick them up from the LAX and I would walk by this Marriott hotel and they had like 800 bulbs. And I'm like, how does he turn on and off all these lights? He said, son, they have an automatic timer. I'm like, when are we going to have an automatic timer that I don't have to turn on and off every day, the lights? So that was my indoctrination to the hotel business. And it's been a great journey. It's been 52 years as a family-owned business where we own, operate, and build hotels. It's been a great journey, great ride, going through the motels where we stayed in motels till 1983.
Give me the motels you lived in.
So Sunset Motel, Chess Motel, Post House Motel, Bell Road Motel, Camelot Inn, Greenwood Inn, Emerald Inn. It goes on. And, the highways and the byways were where the opportunities were.
Sure.
So we would buy a motel, we would fix it up, and then we would sell, and then we'll move on to the next one. And East Coast was where the land of opportunity was. West Coast was always expensive.
Yeah.
You could never buy a real estate because it just felt expensive. So we moved to Greenville in 1976 where we bought a Camelot Inn, 100 rooms. And it's like, wow, that's graduation day. We purchased the hotel from First Federal Savings. We didn't have a balance sheet. So we said, hey, we are the balance sheet. Whatever money we make, we'll give it to you. And we stayed at the property. And since we bought it, it was always 100% occupied. And that's when we moved to the upstate here and bought a lot of properties around the Greenville, Greenwood, Spartanburg in this area.
Why? Because we believed in it? We had to set roots somewhere?
It was an organic opportunistic route. And also there's something to be said. You get in your car and you go to that property in 30 minutes.
Yeah.
There's some value to that.
Yep.
We didn't know we could get on a plane and fly there and go look at our real estate. But there's tremendous value when you can get in the car and go change the Coke machine and pick out the coins out of the Coke machine. Coke machine was a great other income back in the days where we would go to a wholesale, buy the Cokes, load them up, and count the coins at night after dinner. That's how revenue management started and knowing something about it.
Still want that job. I think we could still do that today.
Absolutely. Okay. We could.
Continue.
So, going fast forward, I think the magical moment was when we bought 4 Howard Johnsons on the same day.
Oh.
That was a portfolio acquisition.
Big time.
Big time. And by the way, you get...
How old are you at this time?
We were in high school.
Okay.
So the most amazing part is, wow, we're going to have access to ice cream because Howard Johnson's had the best ice cream. And we're like, we're going to have 4 restaurants. That's pretty cool. And it's like, we didn't know anything about restaurants. So one was in Anderson, South Carolina, 2 in Greenville, and 1 in Gastonia, North Carolina.
Who'd you buy them from? Do you remember?
It was a Judge Powell
Okay.
was the seller, and the acquisition was done from him. So obviously that was a good, strong brand, food and beverage. And I think every day feels like we're graduating, but there's no finish line. And for me, it's a movie in my head. It was an evolution, and the central core is our people. And that means Ron, who woke me up at Chess Motel. He was our night auditor. We stayed upstairs. The front desk was downstairs. He would wake me up. He would make sure I get ready, grab a bowl of cereal, give me a 1/4 from the teller machine, and says, "Okay, have a great day." And that's the connection of our people. Till today, I still feel all my associates are my family. And that still holds true to us
I get that.
as a culture.
I get that. How many associates now?
We have 3,000 associates between the US and India.
Yeah.
So it's a big family, but we try to keep a organization harness culture that it's one unit at a time. I never want to think about portfolio. I never want to think about a third-party playbook. It's about one hotel, one family, one property.
How many hotels does Auro have now?
Today we're close to 42 plus, 7,000 rooms, and all Southeast, Chicago, Washington, D.C., to Miami, and then obviously in India, in Surat.
I'm fascinated. How did you decide to split up? Is it geography? Oh, we'll take Greenville, you take Orlando, or is it a draft? All right, I picked this hotel, you pick this hotel.
So
or like a cake, I'll cut it and you pick.
Great question.
How do you?
Great question. So I went back to school, and I took a class on family business, 2014. And by the time I graduated, pretty much had a little bit of blueprint. I kept on our dialogues internally in the organization with the family. And the way we pursued it is, here's the real estate. The ownership was always divided up. Operating agreements were always set. And here's your net value, net worth. Pick whatever assets you want, plus or minus will adjust. And taxation hits that you're going to get, we manage that also to help all the families. So at the end of the day, it's having an open heart, no needs and wants and desire, but what's good for me is good for everybody. What's bad for you is bad for me. But I think providing education and the value system to our children is far important than anything else at the table.
How do you think you've done?
You know, Keval, I love the fact that when he was young, I was raised in a motel. He was raised in a house. So first thing I had to rewind myself and said, hey, during summer, you're going to go to the Fairfield Inn and you're going to the laundry room. And by the way, Randy Watkins is one of our 30-year-old veteran in our company, understands family business really well, and you're going to get trained by him. And that's where it had to start. No different than how I folded towels when I was coming after school. So we had to instill those values, number one. Number two, every summer we would send him to India in the village where we were raised. And that's where our mango farms and sugarcane is still there, to understand that never take for granted. You may have shoes, but there are kids in our village that go to school without shoes. So all of a sudden, every summer he would collect shoes, put it in the bag, take it to India, and then distribute it. So I think we as parents have to remember what our parents taught us, and we have to keep on instilling those currents to our children. And by the way, there's so much noise in the society we raise our children in, so we have 10 times more hard work to do, far greater.
Give me the rest, your vision for what you want for the company.
Yeah, so I think, vision for our company, we have been 100% entrepreneurial, net worth creator.
Yes.
And for 52 years, that's all we've been doing. We look today and forward, we are not fundamentally changing that philosophy. We're taking slight turns here and there, And that may mean, okay, the physical discipline and the calculated risk and not risk in your shop still is at the core. And are we creating value in whatever we do? So those fundamentals will remain. Any partners or any equity partners we may bring in, always we're focusing on, are they aligned to our philosophy? Are they aligned to our strategy? And if they're not, then no going in, what's your exit? And agree to that before you have a difference of opinion. So we're blessed that we were brought up and raised with a mindset that you're buying something low, you're fixing it, and then you're exiting. We did that, I would say, till 1996. And in 96, we opened the 7th Hampton Inn in Augusta, Georgia. And our rate was $38 banner when we opened that hotel.
What did it cost to build?
It costed us $45,000 a door. And that Hampton Inn was like a vacuum cleaner. We built it on a I-20 and Washington Road, and there were all these independent motels and Holiday Inns and everything. And Ray Schultz always used to say, you put a Hampton Inn and it's like a vacuum cleaner. And I swear to you, it was a vacuum cleaner. It was 120 rooms that we opened, and we added 45 rooms to it. And it ran 85, 90% occupancy all years. Since 1996, it was an exterior corridor. We sold the Hampton Inn, and then we built a Hampton Inn right in the back, a brand new one. So we've been in Augusta, Georgia market since 1996 with the Hampton Inn license agreement on that Washington I-20. What this shows you, hotel business is it's a beautiful business because it's dynamic pricing. My milk expires at midnight. I price my milk gallon every night, every day, and I'm able to optimize the dynamic pricing power. As long as I love the brand, which is the power of customer acquisition, I've outsourced that with a 10% fee. And my job is to keep the product fresh, keep my people smiling, and take care of the guests.
Keep talking about the industry and how it's evolved. I'll prompt you. There were no brands back in the day, right? It was all independents. And then the brands started coming. And then there was this interstate. And we all built on the interstate. And that filled it up. Right. And then the brands, to your point, would start to fill it up. And we just had to manage the expenses.
Correct.
And then we went urban. We started going urban. And then first we wanted no F&B because all the money was in the rooms and the F&Bs were an expense.
Right.
And now we're building these giant things with 7 F&B outlets and 50% F&B revenue and 50% rooms.
Right.
So I stole it, but go. How these
Listen, I went back to Sunset Motel. Our revenue per month was close to like $9,000 a month on 40 rooms. Today, that owner has leased the motel to the city of Los Angeles for $325,000 a month, right? So that's called real estate, right? It evolves like this. So obviously on our side, I look at revenue per door.
Mm-hmm.
And when we were in Post House Motel or Chess Motel, those were like $8,000 a door revenue. And we would make an NOI of $3,000. Today we're clocking $110,000 a door. Yeah. And it's the same real estate. So rather than distributing 10 hotels making the same kind of revenue per door, we're concentrating on one real estate and optimizing that real estate where we are focused on higher revenue per door and a higher NOI per door. And which brand is going to bring that revenue and NOI? What other amenities and competitive points of difference do I need to instill in this building to be competitive and get more than my fair share of the market and be relevant? The other word is risk taking. We have to not get stuck in analysis paralysis. Whatever outlets you saw the AC, when I told our real estate team that we're going to spend $6 million on Juniper and 1.2 on Speakeasy Press Room and $4 million in Serotonin, and they're like, no, we're not gonna get the returns. So sometimes intuition and the gut and being raised in a property and the intuition that you have, you cannot, you have to listen to it beyond the spreadsheets. And today when I sit with Keval, the knowledge transfer, the black book that we have, the secret sauce, my mission is every day to keep reminding or sending small signals, because you don't want to blur everything at one time. You got to send small signals that say, hey, this, they said no, but we took the risk, and then this is the outcome. So entrepreneurial zeal should never be turned off in your own spirit. Continue with that, because that's what's brought us here. A lot of our all families across America, and we can't let the third generation turn that off. And we got to keep that alive.
Yeah, one of the things I love it. It's the evolution, right? But one of the things I'm laughing, we were walking upstairs here, right? Amazing rooftop bar, amazing rooftop, I mean, more than a bar. I don't even know what we want to call it. Event space. It's incredible. But you're talking about how you're changing the decor out.
Right.
What? Seasonally.
Right.
What?
So,
and the original, HP wouldn't do that.
no.
No, you know how much that cost? We're never going to do that.
No.
Right? Like,
So listen, we have a graphics and a marketing and a social media department. When they tell me that this is the number of loves we have on Juniper, and today it's so data science that anything we do, we can measure our ROI. Money you spend, I can see from data that money has an ROI, and it gets transferred to a beverage sale or a food sale or footfall, or a lift on the ADR. So I think today the science of data is so powerful that we never used to have it back then. And relevancy, right? Again, consumers want everything Instagrammable. They don't want to go to the same outlet and nothing has been changed or touched, or the menu, in 6 months. And they're just going to come once and then go on to the next competition. So here, what we do at Juniper, it's more of an intoxicating garden, an artist who invites his guests to his penthouse. That was our original positioning statement. And in his penthouse, he's going to have different theatrical experiences because it's an intoxicating garden.
yeah.
So anything that we do always has a story, and we script it, and we write the story, and then we keep it alive. And the way we keep it alive is the artist wants to change it for Christmas because he's inviting his guests to his penthouse. And that's how we started with Juniper.
I just love it. And again, that mindset, that's you. That's you, the creative. That's you, the artist. That's not the historic way that people are doing hotels.
Correct.
Right, and changing that over. And I'm gonna do Serotonik, which you mentioned earlier for everyone. That's the downstairs music venue. Right. What hotelier, much less a bar, much as a restaurant, now has a music venue, right? Trying to bring music to Greenville. Cheers to you.
Correct.
That's a music venue with live artists, a Nashville-esque, Austin-esque, that we're going to bring live music here to Greenville. What, huh?
So I think the days of event space are being reinvented. And today we're calculating everything revenue per square foot. And our Juniper proved us with data, with our meeting space, was calculating close to $450 a square foot. And we said, we can't lease this space to a Lululemon or any of that. And sales department had so much denials on event space that they needed. So we went back to our lab and said, okay, how do we find a common equation that can really give flexibility to operations, sales, and also, by the way, we're in front of the Peace Center, Performing Arts Center, so how do we tap them in too? So we wanted to create a space that allows operations to open whenever they want, as a bar, as a music venue, open the doors and revenue comes in. Sales department, sell it as an event space, bridegrooms, whatever that may be, an event. And third was to collaborate with the Peace Center when they don't have the stage to give to a performer. Well, you can bring them on here, or we may, by the way, have our own performance that will collect a ticket and sell food and beverage. So all of a sudden, rather than just creating a meeting space, we created more of an experientiology of a room that allows us to have flexibility, what we want. And I think that's the science that you have to be creative in your approach.
Okay, I like this. Thank you. I'm going to transition, sort of talking about Keval, but we'll talk about lots of industry stuff's awesome.
Right.
You know it. And we're talking about a lot of mentorships out there.
Right.
Let's talk about since he's sitting right here, but let's talk about his future and what we're leaning in to him and how we're training him.
So what's interesting is he was in 7th grade, and we took a dry eraser board, and I said, math, science, social studies, what do you love? It's like math. I'm like, okay, that's good. Check. And then we visited universities in 7th grade. Took him to different colleges, Cornell, UPenn, just visiting different campuses to say, this is what college looks like. And then obviously Cornell hit the chord and felt comfortable. So obviously that's what wound up being. And he did a summer program in high school. So I urge a lot of the families that when the child is lost, not a bad idea to enroll them into summer high school college programs. They're 3 weeks, and they also provide 1 credit. And it really checks off that, does the child really like that subject matter? Or is there another interest? So he did that. He liked it. Then he applied. He went to Cornell for 4 years. And obviously with Cornell, every summer he was plugged into different shops. So that really gave him a great exposure of network, industry, hanging around with Bill Hodges, Mitch Shaw, and just having that mentorship. And that's the beauty about our industry, that everybody welcomes our children and says, you know what, we got you, we'll take care of it. So the mentorship for him, exposure was fantastic. And then spending time, and then I think what happens is we had to get him back into our shop, because I wanted him to shadow with HP, myself, because that itself is also a playbook, an MBA classroom, management by walking around. And it's been 1 year. So within this 1 year, first day he joined, I wrote him a little note, about fundamental values of what it meant to be for me to work my first day also in the company. And I said, what title do you want? And he goes, senior associate is good. I'm like, okay, great. No problem. Senior associate. Who do you want to work underneath? Where do you want to start off? CFO. It's like, okay, great. Luke Finley, who's been with us for, 29 years. So it's great that he's getting the knowledge transfer from the finance side of the equation. And then also at the same time, I pull him in and have him shadow me. So the way I found myself to transfer knowledge is allow him to participate, listen in, travel with me. No different than how HP would take me. We would go see a Ramada in Birmingham. My best part was the meals and the dinner time. Daytime is like walking the hotel and seeing the property. But I think shadowing has a lot of power.
Always.
And so that's what we've been doing quite a bit. And the part that I really was happy is he shot an email out and he says, I've been around for 1 year. And, he shot that email to about 14 people in our company, all the leaders. I would like to have a wrap session and let me know, what am I doing right? What can I do better? And any other improvements I can make that will enhance the company. And when he wrote that email to all the people, they all sent to me. I was like, we are so proud. And I said, good. Well, I'm glad he's doing independent, because I didn't tell him to do that. So he's earning his own respect in the shop. It's not because he's daddy's son, but it's about earning his respect in his own merits and talking the lingo, helping the company, helping the leaders. So, you feel good that it's working in the right direction.
What lessons do you think he's learning from you or from HP?
I think, obviously from HP, the spiritual aspect has been very strong, number one. Number two, the philanthropic arm. Because HP now is at a different stage with the university in India, and now with the La Grace that's being built 30 minutes from here. And it's a 501c nonprofit. How do we make humanity more happier tomorrow than today? That infrastructure is going up, so he's involving him as an exposure and all that, so which is good. And at the same time, I think the fundamentals, right, just the basic 101 of risk taking, calculated risk, and HP, and they have their own dialogue. They have a good banter on stock portfolio, which is good to watch them both. And they enjoy that each other. So they found that wavelength amongst each other, which has been very healthy.
It's tempting to wrap up with you, but if you look back 25, 30 years from now, when Keval's our age, where do you hope he is? What do you envision?
I think I would envision that, has he learned the fundamentals of the family business, that he's helped other hoteliers, no different than what our HP's generation did, to truly help others and get a joy out of that, right? And when he started AHOA, it was no different than helping other hoteliers that may not have a hand. That how does an association help everybody to be successful? So I hope that he continues that legacy down to help others. Second is keeping the culture and preserving the culture of being people first. And that means our associates, truly taking care of our staff. And that means tenureship, where families and housekeepers and engineers are raising their children with our business, believing in your people, but doing some groundbreaking things for our people that's beyond the HR book, and doing it right from your heart. I think there's a greater joy when you help others. And fine, you can grow the business and there'll be ups and downs and all that, but making sure that the basic preservation is there, grow if you can, and most importantly is be happy.
All right, you were amazing, my friend, as always. Thank you. This is great. Thank you for sharing. I do want to say that. Thank you for opening it up. There's a lot of sensitive stuff in there, so thank you. But I want to bounce and I want to move. I'm
excited to see this.
Me too. I'm glad we talked him into coming here. Welcome.
Definitely. Thank you for having me, Teague.
And thanks to HP for talking with us this morning and last episode for everybody. But so we got our first generation, our second generation. Now we got third generation on the hot seat, which I'm not sure we've done yet, by the way. So congratulations.
Thank you.
You're the guinea pig. You were now speaking for the thousands of third generation people that are in this industry.
Thank you.
All right, so let's do this. I am excited. So I think my question is, what was it like? What's it like growing up in the industry? And again, third generation. You have first generation. We know HP and brothers and your dad coming over here. We know their story. That was a heck of a journey. We watched dad take it from second to there. Now it's going to be in the hands of third generation. Yep. So what was it like growing up in the business, watching these guys do their thing?
Teague, it's funny. Originally, I didn't have a choice in the matter.
Yeah, I get that. Me too.
My grandmother, JP's wife, insisted on two things. One is that I start early, and two is that I start from the bottom. And that's exactly what I did. So I remember in the 8th grade around going straight from summer ball practice and picking up shifts at the hotel at our Courtyard and Full Service Marriott off Pelham Road here in Greenville. And I'd rotate throughout the different departments: housekeeping, house spin, front desk, back of house, everything. Just getting that inner workings of what it takes to run a hotel properly. I think by the time I got to the middle of high school, I really found that love for the service industry, getting to know people, getting to know our guests, and understanding why they came to our small town of Greenville, South Carolina. At least that's what it was back in the early 2010s. I think the secret's out now at this point.
Yes.
So by the time it came to looking at colleges, I think I really wanted to pursue this industry and not really understanding the wide range of options that you had. You could be an investor, you can be part of a management company, you could be a broker like yourself, or even a lender. There's just so many ways to participate in the hotel industry, but you still get that benefit of service.
And it sounds like you grew up, in operations. That's where a lot of us grew up, all the stories we've heard, first job as a bellman, front desk, all that stuff. So you started there, so you're like, I guess I'm doing something here. Let's see how this goes.
Yep.
So where'd you go to school?
So I'm a proud graduate of the Cornell Hotel School, class of 2021. And it was the perfect education for myself because it was a general business education in the lens of hospitality. I absolutely adored my professors. They really had the pulse on the industry and knew what was going on within the markets themselves. I made sure to get involved in professional organizations as well too, just expand that network outside of just the hotel school. But I loved enjoying time with my classmates as well. It's always great to see how they've grown in their careers, and it's always great to see them on the other side of a deal sometimes, or even at conferences.
I think that network is or they love it, but underappreciated from a lot of people. But you're getting it. Like, that's one of the best things you get.
I think that was the main part of the education was the alumni network they get access to.
All right, so you graduated, and then what? Straight home to work for mom and dad?
No, definitely not. Throughout my years at Cornell, I had various industry internships as well too, just to get a very well-rounded basis.
What I'll name them.
So I started out in CBRE in their hospitality research division. Robert Mandelbaum and Jack Cordial and Mark Woodworth, excellent leaders within our industry.
Love this.
Hodges Ward Elliott was my second internship, rotated throughout the different departments. And under their leadership, I really got to understand what it means to create meaningful relationships with your clients.
Great.
And lastly, in college, I was at Noble Investment Group in their financial planning and asset management group. And, there's too much to say about Noble and what they mean in the industry as well. The constant is, what I always learned is that you always got to learn in the fire, right? And what was on fire at that time was all the debt modifications you can do. And, how do you go about loan negotiations? So I went to Wells Fargo's hospitality finance group led by Anand Jobaputra, and excellent leader. He's been a great mentor to me to this day. I can pick up the phone and call him, and I know he'd answer and give me the time of day to walk me through whatever dilemma I'm facing. And they really treated everyone like family too. So it really showed me how I wanted to be part of a team and understand how do you work together with people and how do you work with your business partners to come to an amicable decision when it comes to your hotel assets. Then from Wells Fargo, after that, I went down to Miami Beach to work with Starwood Capital Group and their asset management team. So I had a great leadership, Rob Tannenbaum, Anjali Agarwal, Ben Rosenbaum, and of course, Cody Bradshaw was the head of our team, which I believe you had on the podcast just about a year ago. And they all have decades of industry experience and learning what it means to be an equity owner. How do you preserve capital? How do you look at risk? And how do you invest in your assets from a fund perspective?
That's a heck of a resume, sir.
Thank you. I really had the benefit of knowing where I wanted to be, and I could backtrack and say, what steps do I need to take to get to what I ultimately want to become? So I'm fortunate in that manner.
So what made us say, okay, now I'm ready. Now time to go work with the fam, and here I go.
It was an interesting time joining back in 2024. There was so much market uncertainty, and still is, obviously. And at that time, I didn't really know what my next career path was going to be, whether I wanted to go to graduate school, whether I wanted to find another job. But I think ultimately, at the end of the day, I was ready to get my master class at home and learn from under my dad, my grandfather, and understand what it means to be part of the Rama family and in the Auro Hotels family.
Yeah, what does it mean?
It's all about being part of one whole team and being a family, right? So, like I said, we have people who have been around for 25, 30 years in the company, and seeing the way that they have advanced their careers and brought success to their family and opportunities that they might not have otherwise is really satisfying, fulfilling for us as a company.
What was it like growing up in that household? I mean, again, it's a multi-generational household with multiple granddads, right? Multiple great uncles, right? And grandmothers and people. What was that household like?
A little hectic, Teague.
I can't get away with anything.
I wasn't left home alone until 11th grade, actually, funny enough. But I have 3 moms and I have 4 or 5 dads, is really how I looked at it, right? So everyone, like HP was saying, was every brother had their own unique set of skills and abilities and how they look at the world. And you could really take whatever pieces and lessons you learned from each person and incorporate that into my own mentality. I think it's about how do you take in all that information and ultimately become the best human being you can be.
What do you think of your skill set? What's your strength?
My strength, I think, I take after my grandfather, JP. I'm definitely more of the conservative side, as HP alluded to. Definitely more of the penny pincher, usually butting heads to my dad when he comes to overspending on renovations. But he has decades of industry experience and knows what it means to invest in our assets and invest in our people.
What's your vision? If you're in charge right now, what are you doing?
It's a tough question, Teague, right? And all credit goes to my forefathers and my dad for what they've been able to accomplish. I think from a hotel standpoint, we'll always be hotel investors. It's our bread and butter, and that's what we know how to do. I grew up in the industry just the same as my dad and my grandfather did. But what I really want to do is continue to inspire other family businesses that you don't need to become a large private equity shop. You don't need to go public and become a REIT to be successful. You can continue to own your assets in your own right within your family and scale that way and still compete at the highest levels of this industry. I think as long as you maintain the core values, like I mentioned, within your family, you have strong leadership both within your family and in your executive team, and probably most importantly is be open to change. Our landscape is always changing, and being able to adapt to those and whatever consumer preferences are at that time anyone can be successful.
As the saying goes, I think, with great power comes great responsibility. So what are your challenges that you see facing?
You know, Teague, I think it's the monumental task of carrying the torch my own way and proving myself. I think it's a matter of how do you blend the family core values that have worked up to this point, like I mentioned before, and being able to incorporate those and innovate in our environment. But I think the two main topics that are always going to stay true is that we'll always maintain our integrity. And I'm super proud of these guys because in all my conversations with our leadership team, people who've been here for decades, they've never once had to question the ethics of a decision. So we've never compromised our ethics to make a dollar, and we never will. Second is giving back to our communities. So like I said, Auro Hotels has been operating some of these markets like Miami, Orlando, Charleston, and Greenville for 25, 30 years at this point. And finding a way to make communities better than when we found them and advancing the career of our associates and ultimately creating a better life for them and their families and giving them opportunities that they might not otherwise have had is really at the core of my mission.
Yeah, you got a lot in there. Not just a successful business, but communities, give back. By the way, the spiritual side,
Yep.
you know, but there's a lot. I mean, I keep saying DJ's the spiritual soul of our community, of our generation. HP might have been of his, but there's a lot of give back. They've done a bunch to show you how you have to give back. So follow that. All right, I got to know fun stuff. What's it like being in the office every day with Dad? Like, do we ride into work together? We're living at home together?
I'm actually HP's personal chauffeur to lunch
You are.
every day. But no, the office dynamics have been great. I'm actually in JP's office right now, just carrying on the torch there and, you know, always making sure to crack down on spending, especially when Dad's over on renovations for
Every
sure.
time.
But, you know, that's the only time we really butt heads. Otherwise, I think we're always on the same page when it comes to our core values and doing right by our people and our business partners. So, you know, I was brought in because I have a different perspective on how travelers think and, you know, how my generation personalizes travel, right? So it's about coming in and, you know, giving your mindset and understanding how do we incorporate all these thoughts into operations and design.
How I know Dad's probably day to day, but how important is Granddad in that first generation of what we did?
I think they're still crucial because, you know, it's almost like a monument sign to have in the office that, hey, HP's here, the founder of our business, and just showing that even at 74, 75 years old now, he's still coming in the office every single day, right? So if he can still be in the office, why can't we be in the office, right? So it's about showing that leadership and to the second and third generation that this is a lifetime goal, right? This isn't something that, oh, we're gonna come in 20 and we're gonna for 20, 40 years we're gonna operate the business and hand it off. This is a continual succession plan.
Right now, you're the face of the third generation,
Thank you.
right? So, and there's a bunch of them, right? Arjun, Mitch's son, and Mitch's son, and the Baywood guys, and there's all your friends,
Yep.
right? Exactly right. So, and again, when all those guys, we all came through, your dad and I coming through, we didn't know we were in charge until we were. So you guys will be there one day. You're coming. So what vision do you have for them, or what motivation, what advice do you have for that crew? Talk to them real fast.
We are facing challenges as a generation together. So it's about how do you come together? How do you bounce ideas off each other? What works? What doesn't work? And at the end of the day, I think in general, we're all good people, right? We have good souls, good hearts within our group. And it's about how do you incorporate that into your family business or business in general and ultimately do right by your people and by your partner.
Continue to lean into that community. You guys have a leg up, but part of that is each other. So lean into that, and it'll be great. It'll be worthwhile. All right, fellas, how do you do? Did you do okay? Dad,
did great.
proud?
Yeah, very proud.
You did a great job of not jumping in and answering all the questions.
Patience.
Learned that over the years. HP, I'm going to start with you. What legacy, sitting here saying all this, one, how proud are you?
I'm very proud of the legacy that joint family works if they work together for a common goal to achieve in life. And you have to seize the dream, because dreams are like a bird. They fly out because you will never be able to catch them. So you have to work on your dreams and make it work and realize it in life.
You agree?
Totally agree. And I think seizing the dream is important. And also at the same time, we're all working hard for success, but success converts to give. And I think as a family legacy, what HP has started with education, poverty relief, and also helping other hoteliers in our industry. Over the years, as I was raised in this family, I've seen numerous phone calls where other owners will never buy a hotel unless they make a phone call to our home and say, should I buy this hotel? So at the end of the day, family legacy is continuously helping others to be more successful than you are.
Gentlemen, this is fantastic. We could talk the rest of the day. That's just a little snippet of what you could catch in episode 1. If you plug into that, it's really good. HP, your depth is amazing. Thank you for everything you've done for the industry and my family and a lot of us out there. So I'm speaking for all of them when we say thank you to you. So Keval, thanks for opening up. EJ, as always, brother.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, everybody.